Let's carry on with issues that are forming headlines across the country right here on the Daily Brief. With me, Samuel Njoroge, our sign language interpreter for this hour, has been and continues to be Pauline Muthoni. On to the nurses' strike. They gave a notice that if 22 counties do not respect what was agreed upon in the collective bargaining agreement of 2017 in November, then you will be downing your tools. And that is precisely what we'd like to discuss right here on the show. I have the National Treasurer of the Kenya National Union of Nurses. Her name is Agnes Munderu. Welcome to the Daily Brief. I saw you in a presser a couple of days ago, and you were very emphatic about the requirements that you need now. What is the specific issue with these 22 counties?
The specific issue is non-committal. A government that does not respect its own commitments. An agreement that was signed by both levels of government, national government and the 47 counties on 2nd November 2017. After nurses went on strike for 5 good months, lives were lost. I am sure you know that. Yes. Even if you never got the specific numbers, there was anguish. People suffered. But despite that, 1.5 years down the line, the counties have remained adamant. Because
what is this that has made 25 counties respect and 22 not respect the agreement with nurses?
What I would like to say is the counties that have actually committed are only 3. Those others
fully?
Yes. Those others have said they will pay in February. That is just a commitment which we don't know whether it is going to bear fruits.
So they're talking about this month?
So they're talking about February, yeah, this month. So if they don't pay by 4th March, the other counties that have been left behind will also be doubting.
The 22?
The 22
So remaining. Total 44 counties? Total
44 counties, plus the national government. The national government is actually the most adamant, and I think it has the least number of nurses because it only caters for Munderu National Teaching and Referral Hospital and the Spinal Hospital. Those nurses, the total number of them could hardly be 300, but they have been adamant, and I think they should lead by example because they are also signatories to the document.
Just to refresh our minds,
yes.
What are the specifics with this document, the 2017 November document? What do the nurses want?
The nurses want a uniform allowance. The increment was supposed to be 15,000, which was split in three years, beginning 2017, 2018, and 2019, at 5,000 per year. And then there was the nursing service allowance that was increased by 10,000, which was also split in 3 years, beginning 2017. But I would like to take you behind that by the time we were arriving at that, we had actually done a collective bargaining agreement with both levels of the government the whole year, beginning from January, and we reached a consensus with an agreement, and the CBA was ready for signing. And I remember one time we even produced a document from the SRC saying that the nurses CBA is ready for signing, and the whole thing was overturned.
Totally.
Totally.
Let's listen into your presser that you did a couple of days ago, just briefly to the issues that the nurses are raising. Right, and we couldn't get the sound quality to that particular presser right, but that is Seth Panyako. He is the General Secretary, Kenya National Union of Nurses. He's well represented here because this is the National Treasurer of the same body. So 2017 was largely a negotiating year.
Yes.
With nurses.
With nurses.
Across both levels of government. Yes. Do you feel you fell victim of the political atmosphere of the day? You know what, wanataka tuwapatie, tusiharibu kura, and we move on swiftly?
I don't think, because by the time we were starting the CBA, it was actually in, remember the nurses went on strike in 2016.
Yes.
And we were given the nursing service allowance with a promise of negotiating the CBA 2017 within 60 days. By the time the 60 days expired, we had not finished the negotiations. So we continued. By the time we were going for the elections, we had actually completed our collective bargaining agreement, but there was cat and mouse games. When we finished the CBA at allowed May, I think it must have been May.
It was in May?
Yeah, because the letter from the SRC saying that the nurses CBA is ready, I think it was dated 2nd June, if I am not wrong. So after they realized, I think there has been, I don't know what I would say, but I think there was an insider or something that was happening behind the scenes. Now it is ready for signing? No. Let us bring some other drink tactics. And the team that we negotiated with was changed, and another team was brought forth. Very quickly, which counties, these 3 counties that have actually taken your services seriously enough to honor the CBA? We have
Migori County.
We have Machakos, and we have Mombasa.
Migori, Machakos, and Mombasa counties.
Yes.
With those, you have no issue with.
With those ones, we have no issue.
The collective bargaining agreement, was it ever deposited with the court?
It was never deposited to the court.
Why?
Because at the time of signing, that is when the tables turned. And then when we renegotiated the half-baked, I call it half-baked because we had a better deal previously. When we negotiated the half-baked, that made the nurses go back. We were told that the SRC commissioners, their time had lapsed. And we were told to wait for the next SRC so that they can give a go-ahead to pay, a no objection.
The Sarah Serem team was out,
yes.
So you wait for this new one.
Yes. And when the next team came, we were very ambitious. And in fact, we wrote to them a letter immediately. They came to office and we told them, and they said they have considered the nurses' affairs, the nurses' salaries and whatever, and they called us for meetings which we never reached their offices. But I can show you, I have a bunch of letters. The meeting is tomorrow. In the afternoon, we get another communication. That is why I'm saying there has been an insider. It's like there's somebody who is behind the scenes making sure that this does not happen.
It is frustrated.
Yes.
And could this be the Salaries and Remuneration Commission? Because from the presser, we also had a section of blame apportioned to the commission.
I think between the Salaries and Remuneration Commission and the Council of Governors, there is a devil that is within the two bodies.
Negotiating pacts in this country is a responsibility that was delegated to SRC.
Yes.
That is precisely why the commission is in place. As they listen to your voice, as you've written to them, as you said, countlessly back and forth, what has been the nature of response?
The nature of response is that we will have a meeting with you next week. Before next week comes, we'll have the meeting has been postponed. We can meet before a date. The meeting is tomorrow. In the afternoon, the meeting is changed. What I would like to say is the SRC has actually blacklisted nurses by calling them unskilled. And
what reasons do they give to postponing the meeting?
If they can call the nurses unskilled, and the nurses constitute 80% of the health workforce, then it means they have no respect for the nurse. So to them, even refusing to pay the nurses is like life still continues because, of course, they don't go to those hospitals where the public goes. Because what would you think? 80% of the workforce in Kenya, as per the SRC, is unskilled because nurses constitute 80% of the workforce. So we want to see what happens on Monday. We want SRC to tell us who is going to work in those hospitals because the nurses are not going to be there. We want the SRC to tell us how many people do they want to die so that they can listen to the cries of the nurse. We are the movers of healthcare. I can tell you for free. And if you want to know we are the movers, visit the hospitals where the nurses will strike on Monday.
So besides the allowance,
yes,
we have issues of welfare and classification of nurses.
Yes.
Who is in charge of this?
You know, the SRC was told to do the job evaluation of all the staffs within the health sector. Not the health sector, within the government. But according to their findings, a nurse who even has a PhD is unskilled.
Out of what justifications?
They know. They should tell us.
Never shared with you?
No. Yes. But I think they are the wrong people to evaluate the nurses. You can only be a patient so that you can tell what work the nurse does. If you have never been a patient in a hospital and may be bedridden or prolonged illness, you may never know what the nurse does. So I think that duty was given to the wrong people. It should be given to professionals who are actually within the health sector, because I think even a doctor would not grade a nurse as unskilled.
Let's revert to the Council of Governors.
Yes.
Just the other day they had elections. We've got a new team
Yes.
that is at the helm of the council. Have you made any deliberate attempt to reach out to this new team? And if so, what has been the nature of response?
We were to do a letter to them so that we can have a meeting with them. But even before we reach them, we have been having letters from them. So we were to meet with them, but before we have met them, they have communicated back. But we hope that the new team is going to listen to us. But by the time they listen to us, days are running and Madi is here with us for them.
Unless they call you over the weekend.
We are talking about universal health coverage. And I can tell you for free, and I'm telling even the president, that for as long as the nurses' welfare is not looked at, the UHC is a dream that will never, never, never come true in this country. That is the bigger truth, the bitter, bitter, bitter truth. Because if we are 80% and we are the movers of health,
the unskilled movers
and
of
we
health.
are the unskilled, it shall never happen. And I can tell him that there are some people who are sabotaging UHC. Because you cannot have UHC when County A, nurses are well paid, County B, nurses have never been promoted, County C, nurses have never been designed. Because when you talk of universal, it has to cut across the 48 counties. It has to 47. Be the same, the 47. We have
Plus
the 48, the national government. It has to be equal. You cannot have nurses earning, in fact, across the county, I can tell you for free, if they can be able to bring for you their payroll, every county has its own totally different
It's never been harmonized.
It has never been harmonized.
And because the harmonization then becomes the responsibility of SRC,
Yes.
to what extent have they been able to address this question of harmonizing pay for nurses over time?
You know, health has already been politicized. The minute we gave health to the governors, those are political people. We have already politicized health. So a governor wants to be elected in the next 5 years. So he'll give back to his people because he wants the votes. So we have already politicized what is not supposed to be in the political
arena.
So what we are saying, and our request, even before Madi comes to the president, is that as much as health has been devolved, we are making a most humble request, human resource, to be taken back to the national government so that salaries are cutting across the counties are the same. So that when the salaries are paid, they are paid at the same time. When they are not paid, because when we were in the national government, we have never experienced this. This county pays, this one does not pay. And if my salary is still what I was earning when I was at the national government, what is the reason of it passing through the county? Why does it come from the same basket it was coming from? So that once it is released, it is one time.
Earlier, there was a time I was having a conversation with Seth, and he said part of the solution to this entire problem is forming something equivalent to the Teacher Service Commission, but with the nurses. Now, to look into welfare and harmonization of both the packages that you take home as nurses, plus the working conditions across the 47 counties. Is this a conversation you've had with the relevant bodies that govern discharge of health and nursing services within the country?
In fact, what we are planning, our next move is going to unite all the health workers, and we will go on strike, not because of salaries, for human resource to be taken back to the national government. Not asking for any money, but just to have the human resource taken back. Because for as long as it is within the counties, strikes is going to be every day's welfare.
So basically what you're saying, dalili ya mvua ni mawingu.
Yeah.
The Monday one ni mawingu.
Iyo ni kiojo.
Mvua inakuja.
Inakuja.
Okay.
This time, total paralysis, because salaries are affecting everybody, from the downmost person to the senior-most person. So we are going to unite as a workforce, health sector workforce, and we make sure that we push the government. And we're also telling Kenyans, when we go for the referendum, if the Health Services Commission, or whatever name they are going to call it, is not there, we are going to mobilize our people, our flats, our parents, not to vote for that referendum, not to participate.
Agnes Wangeshi Munderu, the National Treasurer of the Kenya National Union of Nurses, thank you so much for coming in for the Daily Brief. We hope that you won't be going on strike come Monday, but then again, the decision is beyond our hands. We've got the relevant people that are going to make this particular concern legit in as far as the conversation and the national discourse of the country is concerned. You say prevention is better than cure, so let's prevent this from happening so that we're able to protect the lives of Kenyans. Moving on is that President Uhuru Kenyatta last evening put cabinet secretaries on notice, asking them to deliver or go home. Speaking on his way to the East Africa Heads of State Summit in Arusha, Tanzania, the president said he will not hesitate to replace any cabinet secretary engaging in politics instead of serving the people. The president, who was accompanied by Deputy President William Ruto, said his administration was keen on delivering the promises made during the last general elections.
Sini hivyo. Na hapa mimi nimewaambia, na hata leo nimekuwa na baraza ya waziri, na nimewaambia, wewe kama huko tayari kufanyia wananchi kazi na jukumu lako ni siasa, piga about turn. Vijana niko nao wengi ambao wako tayari kufanya kazi. Tunaelewana? Tunaelewana? Au mwasemaji jameni? Mnakubaliana na mimi? Yetu sisi ni kazi. Wakuje hapa Kitengela, wawaulize nyinyi shida yenu ni nini, wawaulize tabu za Kitengela ni gani, na sisi kama serikali tutawasaidia kwa njia gani. Sio kuja hapa kuwaletea porojo na siasa ya dunia ambayo hakuna kitu ambayo itasaidia mtu.
Mumesikia ile rais amesema? Rais amesema mchezo kando, fitina kando, siasa kando, ufisadi nyuma. Sisi wa Kenya tunaenda mbele. Munaungana na rais jameni? Hebu nione wana wanamwambia rais twende mbele, twende mbele, twende mbele.
Tuko pamoja wenzangu. Lazima tusonge mbele. That was the president when he was addressing residents on his way to Arusha for the East Africa Heads of State Summit, which is currently ongoing. Yet another story that at K24 TV is laying emphasis on today. We shall be looking into what will be coming forth from Arusha today. But for now, I need to engage members of County Assembly because largely they say when it comes to important matters of state, somehow, somewhat, natural, right? And would like to see what quality and nature of contribution and involvement that we can be able to derive from our county assemblies across the country. Masharia Take, who is a member of county assembly with Kiambu County, his ward is Wetaithie. Yes. Karibu sana to the Daily Brief. Apo katikati, we've got Charles Thuo. He's from the Nairobi County Assembly. Your particular ward is?
Dandora 3.
Dandora 3. Karibu sana. Tony Baraza to my extreme left from Bungoma County. Yes. And your particular ward would be?
Luandanyi ward.
Lundenye?
Luandanyi.
Luandanyi.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much and karibuni sana to the program. I'd like to begin with you, Tony.
Yes.
Not Tony, but Charles.
Okay.
We saw a move by national government, and also they say they have the blessing of the county government, that we will have car-free CBD days. Did this particular move come through the County Assembly of Nairobi?
The car-free day is actually a very good idea. Mm-hmm. And it's an idea that we have discussed as an assembly. I happen to chair the Trade, Tourism and Cooperatives Committee. Mm-hmm. So we have deliberated over that issue. And it's an issue that we agree on. The county government, including the governor, don't have a problem with that. Mm-hmm. It's only that we're actually very happy that the ministry decided to postpone it.
By 2 weeks? By
2 weeks, because we felt a few issues have not been ironed out.
Mm-hmm. Which issues are this?
The issues, especially the naming and the identifying of roads. You realize cars coming into the city center is also a source of revenue for us.
Mm-hmm. Through parking.
Through parkings.
Yeah.
So it is an issue that it's cross-cutting in different sectors. And there was also the issue of identification of the traders.
To verify who is who.
So because,
muhimu.
Yeah, thank you. Because
lakini kidogo Harambee Avenue, hiyo ni street ya Gava, Prezo, Ruto, you know, the operatives of government. Kweli hao ni watu wananunua vitu kutoka kwa hawkers? Kwa nini hatungefunga Moi Avenue hapa?
They have employees. We don't target the hookers. And those being big offices, it means also they have larger traffic. But like I said, the issue of identifying the streets and their importance in the whole matter is one of the things that made it about the post-polling.
Okay, Macharia, coming to you. There are so many matters of state that are currently being discussed. You know, war against corruption. We've got whether or not judiciary is functioning, upcoming referendum. If at all it will be there or not, what's the level of involvement of MCAs in these discussions?
Thank you. And I want to be candid on this issue. There has never been, and there has, we see like there is a certain people who think that MCA don't have the brains to think of on their own.
Madarao.
Yes, to Madarao Ndogondogo. It has been the same whenever something is or national matters is being discussed. Even the Building Bridges initiative, there is no forum for MCAs to express their views. Even about the Big Four, there's never, even despite having the factors that most of those Big Four agendas shall be implemented in my ward, in his ward, or in the county assemblies, in the counties, there has never been a forum where MCAs have been asked to implement or to enact this law or to have that public participation to understand. Like now, when you come to matters to do manufacturing, I heard that they were saying that the buses, the cars that are within this age and these years would be imported in certain years. Now, I was asking myself, what is in the matters to do manufacturing, what should be priorities? Should we first do with things to do with the toothpicks, which we can be able to stop, tissue papers instead of importing, eggs in
China.
Yes, instead of coming up with the big ideas, which at least, now those are the matters, even referendum, and to make matters worst, even those things will start in the county assemblies, but they want to start from the top, coming bottom.
But then again, you see, when we were campaigning for this new constitution, and largely the spirit of devolution was that MCAs will be the closest link that representation can have to its locals, because it's down at the grassroots. When you look at, since we started having these devolved governments in 2013, since then, years down the line, 6 or so years down the line, has that effect been felt as it should have, Tony?
To my understanding so far, it has not been felt. One, during election, our colleagues, we normally work together. But immediately after election, MCAs are now subjected to be minor people. We are less representative. And yet, we all went through a process of election. And two, if you look at the Constitution, the spirit of Constitution actually, like the spirit of the devolution, that is on, is it chapter 11?
It's chapter 11. That
yeah, we are supposed, we are the link. We are with the people every now and then. And how we wish that the way we went out to campaign, that spirit, it was that we bring money from the national level to the county level. If we are talking about unemployment, and we are taking our people to Polytechnic, where else will you want them to actually be employed if we are not bringing the resources close to them? So this spirit, to some extent, it has not been implemented fully. Yeah.
There's something that is lacking.
Yeah.
Could this frustration then, Charles, be the reason why we see a lot of instability with county governments just across the nation? When you look at county assemblies, mkika speaker nje, governor tutampiga check. What's up?
I do not agree that MCAs are frustrated. We are not frustrated. We are focused, and we are on point, and we are going to deliver. We are going to do the things that we promised our people we are going to do.
But then they're not involving you.
And you see, politics, like in life, you go for what you need to go for. Yeah, nobody offers you anything on a silver platter. And the problem with MCAs, as far as the relationship with other politicians is concerned, is because every other politician, especially at the county level, the governors and the MPs, are alarmed with the connection that MCAs have with the grassroots people. Every time you tell someone about a project you want in your ward, they feel and know actually because it is a fact, but those projects are going to help people, but an MCA is closer to those people than anybody else. It threatens them.
It threatens.
Yeah, it threatens everybody. Especially here in Nairobi, most MPs were once MCAs or councillors. These MPs knows their most likely replacements will come from City Hall. So as Nairobi, for example, without talking about the other counties, an MCA in Nairobi cannot start to concentrate on his relationship with other leaders because it's most likely it's going to be so. But MCAs are not frustrated. MCAs are focused. MCAs are delivering. And I'm sure my colleagues agree with me.
Absolutely.
And MCAs are a good lot of people for Kenya.
When we come back from the break, I need to take a break right about now. So much is coming up. Population census, possible delimitation of boundaries, a referendum maybe, and of course all the way to the 2022 general elections. What will be the involvement and participation of MCAs in these various exercises? A conversation we shall be having immediately after this break.